The harsh fluorescent lights of the on-call room pierced my eyelids as I jolted awake. My hand enveloped in the warm, steady grip of Melody's right there in front of the entire night shift crew gathered for morning rounds. My heart slammed against my ribs like a trapped animal. This wasn't just a sleepy gesture anymore. This was the moment our hidden world as two women in love crashed into the glaring reality of Seattle General Hospital, where professionalism was everything and secrets like ours could end careers in seconds. I yanked my fingers free, cheeks burning, but the damage was done. Whispers rippled through the group of nurses, residents, and techs like a wave hitting the shore. Dr. Harlan, our attending, cleared his throat loudly, his eyes narrowing behind wire-rimmed glasses. Dr. Avery Thompson and Nurse Melody Hayes, my office. Now. I stood on shaky legs, scrubs wrinkled from the long shift, the scent of antiseptic and exhaustion clinging to me. Melody rose beside me, her blonde ponytail slightly disheveled, blue eyes wide with the same panic I felt. We had been so careful for 6 months, stolen glances in the supply closet, quiet dinners at my apartment across town, never anything at work. But last night had been brutal. A multi-car pileup on I-5 kept us running until dawn. I must have dozed off on the cot next to hers after the last trauma case, too tired to notice when the team filed in for handover. "I'm sorry," she whispered as we followed Harlan down the corridor, her voice barely audible over the beep of monitors and distant paging. I thought everyone was still in the pit. Harlan's office door clicked shut behind us like a prison gate. He didn't sit. Explain. His tone was flat, but the vein throbbing at his temple said everything. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out that wouldn't make it worse. We weren't breaking any written rule. Seattle General didn't have an explicit no fraternization policy for same-gender colleagues, but the optics were poison. Promotions were on the line. I was up for chief resident next quarter, and Melody had just transferred from pediatrics to ER to be closer to me without raising flags. Harlan sighed, rubbing his forehead. This isn't the 1950s, but it's still a hospital. Gossip travels faster than a code blue. Fix it before it hits the chief of staff. He waved us out, but the warning hung heavy. Back in the hallway, Melody grabbed my elbow gently, away from prying eyes. "Avery, we can't keep pretending forever. Maybe this is the push we needed." Her touch sent the familiar spark through me, but fear drowned it. Push? This could ruin us. My parents in Texas still think I'm dating that med school guy I mentioned once. If this gets out... I trailed off, the weight of it pressing on my chest. We parted ways for rounds, but every chart I reviewed felt tainted. By lunch, the whispers had grown. A nurse I barely knew shot me a pitying look in the cafeteria line. "Rough morning, huh?" I forced a smile and escaped to the roof for air. The Seattle skyline gray and unforgiving. That afternoon, the first crack appeared. A page summoned us both to risk management. Not Harlan this time. The hospital lawyer, Ms. Reyes, sat with a file open. There's video from the security cam in the on-call area. It's not public yet, but someone on the night team mentioned it in the break room. We need to get ahead of this. My stomach dropped. Video. Proof. Melody's hand in mine, clear as day. Reyes leaned forward. "I'm not here to judge. But if this leaks, it could affect patient trust. Are you two involved?" The question hung like a scalpel. I glanced at Melody, her jaw set in that determined way I loved. Silence stretched. One wrong word and everything we'd built, our careers, our quiet life, could vanish. I chose my answer carefully, heart pounding. It's complicated. But deep down, I knew complicated was about to become impossible. The rest of the shift blurred into charts and consults, but my mind raced. How do you protect the woman you love when the world suddenly sees you as a liability? By evening, the hospital grapevine had turned into a wildfire. I caught fragments in the elevator. "Did you see Thompson and Hayes this morning? Lesbian drama right in there, unbelievable." My pager buzzed nonstop with non-urgent messages from colleagues fishing for details. Melody texted me from the nurses' station. "Meet me in the parking garage after shift? Level 3. I slipped out at 7, rain slicking the concrete as I found her leaning against my car, hood up against the drizzle. She pulled me into a hug that felt both safe and dangerous. "Avery, people are staring at me like I grew a second head." One of the techs asked if we were roommates with air quotes. "This is spiraling." We drove to my apartment in silence, the wipers slapping rhythmically. Inside, with the door locked and curtains drawn, the tension broke. "I love you," Melody said, voice cracking as she cupped my face. "But I won't watch you throw away chief resident for me." Her words stung because they echoed my own fears. We had met at a conference last spring. Her laugh during a boring panel on trauma protocols had pulled me in. Late-night coffees turned into weekends away, always discreet. Now discretion was gone. My phone lit up with a call from my mother in Dallas. I let it ring to voicemail, but the message preview said it all. "Avery Lynn, what is this nonsense your cousin saw on some nurse's Instagram story?" Call me. Instagram story. Someone had snapped a blurry photo of the handhold and posted it anonymously with the caption, "ER real-life soap opera." It wasn't viral yet, but the comments were already vicious. "Disgusting in a hospital," and "Fire them both." Melody scrolled through it on my couch, tears welling. "This is my fault. I reached for you without thinking." I pulled her close, inhaling the faint scent of her shampoo mixed with hospital soap. No. We both knew the risks. But running away isn't an option. That night we talked until dawn, about coming out properly, about maybe transferring departments. But every plan felt like surrender. The next morning brought the first real blow. Chief of Staff Dr. Patel called us in together. "I've seen the video in the Post. Internal Affairs is opening a review. No formal charges yet, but patient complaints are coming in. One family claims their father's care was delayed during last night's pileup because staff was distracted." My blood ran cold. The multi-car accident victim, Mr. Ellison, 62, chest trauma. I had hesitated on the CT order, distracted by Melody's concerned glance across the bay. He stabilized, but the delay was real. Patel's eyes were sympathetic but firm. "Fix your personal lives or the hospital will fix them for you. Suspension is on the table." We left his office numb. In the stairwell, Melody turned to me. "Avery, if this lawsuit sticks, it's not just jobs. It's licenses." I wanted to tell her we'd fight it together, but the words stuck. Protecting her meant maybe stepping back. Protecting us meant risking everything. Back on the floor, patients still needed us, but every interaction felt judged. A resident I mentored avoided eye contact during rounds. By the end of shift, my mother's third voicemail demanded answers, and Melody's sister texted from California offering support but warning about the media. The pressure was building like a storm off the Puget Sound, inescapable and growing darker by the hour. The lawsuit notice arrived via certified mail 3 days later, delivered straight to the nurse's station where Melody stood. She opened it with trembling hands while I hovered nearby pretending to review labs. "Ellison versus Seattle General and staff involved," it read. "Negligence, emotional distress, and a demand for millions." The claim specifically mentioned inappropriate personal conduct during critical care as a contributing factor. My name and Melody's were listed prominently. Word spread faster than a stat page. By noon, the ER charge nurse pulled me aside. "Admin wants you both off the floor pending investigation. Paid leave, they call it." Paid leave felt like house arrest. We packed our lockers under the stairs of the whole department, the silence heavier than any code blue. At home, the apartment felt too small for the fear filling it. Melody paced while I stared at the court documents. "We didn't cause his complications," she insisted. The delay was 10 minutes. He had underlying heart disease. But 10 minutes in trauma could be everything, and the video of our handhold gave the plaintiff's lawyer ammunition. Distraction, they would call it. I pulled up old charts, replaying the night in my head. Yes, I had glanced at Melody instead of the monitor for a split second. Love had cost a patient pain. The guilt twisted like a scalpel. My phone rang, my father this time. "Avery, your mother is in tears. Is this true? You're with a woman at work. We raised you better." His voice cracked with disappointment that cut deeper than any reprimand. I hung up, tears hot on my face. Melody wrapped her arms around me from behind. "My folks are different. Mom says come visit. But yours? I'm so sorry." The media picked it up by evening. A local Seattle station ran a teaser. "Hospital romance leads to lawsuit. Staff caught on camera." No names yet, but the blurry still from the Instagram post was everywhere. Comments flooded online. calls for our firing, accusations of unprofessionalism, even death threats hidden in prayer posts. I shut my laptop, heart racing. We have to respond, Melody said quietly, or stay silent and let them paint us as reckless. Silence felt safer for my career, but it meant throwing Melody under the bus alone. We argued for hours, me pushing to deny anything romantic, her refusing to hide anymore. I'm tired of being your secret, Avery. This crisis is forcing the truth out. Maybe it's time. The words hung between us like a precipice. Outside, rain hammered the windows, mirroring the storm inside. By midnight, the hospital's PR department emailed. A press statement was being drafted, and we were strongly advised to cooperate. One wrong move and our medical licenses could be reviewed by the state board. I lay awake beside Melody, her breathing steady but her hand clutching mine as if afraid I'd vanish. The decision loomed. Protect my future by stepping away from her, or stand together and watch everything burn. Dawn brought no answers, only another call from risk management demanding our statements by noon. The press statement went live at 10 a.m., and the storm hit full force. Seattle General Hospital investigates reported staff conduct amid ongoing malpractice suit. Our names weren't mentioned, but everyone knew. Social media exploded with hospital lesbian scandal trending locally. Reporters camped outside the hospital gates, and my apartment buzzer rang with unknown numbers offering exclusive interviews. Melody and I holed up, curtains drawn, surviving on takeout intention. Her phone lit up with supportive texts from California friends, but mine stayed ominously quiet from Texas. Then came the ultimatum. My mother called on speaker so Melody could hear. Avery, your father and I have talked. If this lifestyle continues, we can't support you. No more tuition help for your loans, no family holidays. Choose. The line went dead. I sank onto the couch, world tilting. Melody knelt in front of me. You don't have to choose me over them. But her voice broke, revealing how much it hurt her to say it. That afternoon, the plaintiff's lawyer leaked more details to the press. The video timeline of the Ellison case, quotes from anonymous staff about unprofessional behavior. National outlets picked it up. Lesbian affair allegedly caused hospital negligence. Protesters appeared outside Seattle General with signs about morality in medicine. Inside our bubble, the fights escalated. I suggested we issue a joint statement denying romance to save our jobs. Melody refused. Lying now would destroy us more than the truth. I love you too much to let fear win. Her courage both inspired and terrified me. We barely slept, replaying every moment of our relationship like evidence in a trial. The hospital's internal review board scheduled hearings for next week. Suspension turned to unpaid leave. Bills piled up, my student loans, her rent share. Love suddenly had a price tag in lost wages and shattered reputations. Melody's family flew in a sister for support, filling the apartment with quiet solidarity. Mine sent a single text. We're praying for you to find the right path. The contrast stung. By week's end, the stress fractured something inside me. During one heated argument, I snapped, maybe we should take a break until this blows over. The words tasted like betrayal. Melody's face paled. A break? That's silence, Avery. That's choosing fear. She stormed out into the rain, leaving me alone with the echo of my cowardice. Hours later, she returned, soaked, eyes red. I won't force you. But if we hide now, we'll lose each other anyway. The media vans multiplied. A tabloid ran my yearbook photo beside hers with the headline Secret Love or Deadly Distraction. Every decision felt like choosing which part of my life to amputate. The hearing loomed, and with it, the moment we could no longer avoid. Testify truthfully or protect ourselves at any cost. The internal review board hearing took place in a windowless conference room that smelled of stale coffee and dread. 5 administrators, 2 lawyers, and a union rep sat across from us like a firing squad. I went first, voice steady despite the tremor in my hands. Nurse Hayes and I have a personal relationship. It did not interfere with patient care. The lie tasted bitter because the Ellison delay haunted me. Melody followed, her posture straight. Dr. Thompson is the finest physician I know. Our feelings for each other made us more careful, not less. Questions drilled down. Timelines, the video, the 10-minute delay in ordering labs for Mr. Ellison. Each answer chipped away at our defenses. Outside, protesters chanted faintly through the walls. By the end, the board announced a recommendation: separate departments or face termination. It wasn't firing yet, but it was exile. Walking out, Melody took my hand openly for the first time since the scandal broke. Cameras flashed from across the street. "I can't do separate," she whispered. "It would kill us slowly." Back at the apartment, the weight crushed us. My phone showed missed calls from the state medical board. Anonymous complaints had triggered a license review. Melody's union warned her of possible reassignment to nights indefinitely. We sat on the floor surrounded by legal papers, the lawsuit now demanding depositions. The plaintiff's attorney wanted us under oath about our romantic distraction. One of us cracking could sink both. That night, the near breakup loomed again. I admitted my fear. If I lose my license, I lose everything I worked for since college. Melody nodded, tears falling. And if we deny who we are, we lose ourselves. The conversation stretched into raw honesty. Childhoods, dreams, the future we had whispered about in the dark. Her hand found mine again, not in secret this time. The turning point came at 3 a.m. A breaking news alert. Mr. Ellison's family held a press conference calling us reckless role models. The pressure peaked. I looked at Melody, exhausted but resolute. "I'm done hiding. We fight together." Full truth at the deposition. Her smile broke through the fatigue like sunlight after weeks of rain. We drafted our statements side by side. No more half-truths. But courage came with cost. My parents cut off contact completely via a final email. Hospital colleagues unfollowed me on social media. Yet in that decision something shifted. The fear didn't vanish, but it no longer controlled me. Depositions were set for the following week. We prepared like soldiers before battle, reviewing every chart, every glance from that night. Love had brought the crisis. Now love had to carry us through it. The city outside slept, but our small apartment burned with determination. One more week until the real trial began. Not just in court, but in the court of public opinion and our own hearts. The courtroom smelled of polished wood and nervous sweat. Mr. Ellison's lawyer paced like a shark, projecting the security video for the jury. My head on Melody's shoulder, her fingers lacing through mine in sleep. "Distraction," he thundered. "While a man fought for his life." Our attorney countered with data. Survival rates, staffing shortages, the fact that Mr. Ellison recovered fully. But the real testimony came from us. I took the stand first, heart hammering. Yes, Melody Hayes and I are in a loving relationship. Yes, I hesitated for seconds that night. But that hesitation came from human exhaustion after 16 hours, not from romance. Our bond makes us better doctors because we care more. The courtroom murmured. Melody followed, voice clear and strong. Avery Thompson saved more lives that night than most do in a month. Our love didn't cause harm. It gave us the strength to keep going when others would have broken. Cross-examination tried to break us, painting us as reckless lovers putting patients at risk. We held firm. Outside on the steps, reporters swarmed. We faced them together, hands clasped openly. "We are two women who love each other and happen to be damn good at our jobs," Melody said into the microphones. "The real scandal is a system that forces us to hide." The verdict took 3 days. The jury found no negligence on our part. The delay was within acceptable limits given the chaos. Seattle General settled quietly to avoid further publicity. But the board still mandated department transfers and sensitivity training. My license stayed intact. So did Melody's. Careers damaged but not destroyed. My family remained silent, a wound that might never heal. Yet walking out of the courthouse into spring sunlight, Melody beside me, felt like rebirth. We stood on the courthouse steps, the city humming around us. Protesters had dwindled. Some even waved support signs now. "We made it," I whispered, pulling her close for a kiss that ignored every camera. The price had been steep. Reputation, family ties, months of hell. But the alternative was a lifetime of silence. Weeks later, back at work in different wings, we stole lunch breaks and late-night texts like before, only now without shame. The scandal faded into hospital legend, but our story became one of quiet defiance. Colleagues slowly warmed again. Some even apologized. Life wasn't perfect, but it was ours. True or false? In the end, choosing courage over silence always costs you everything worth having, but keeps the one thing that truly matters.